welcome back to another Honcast.com presentation. I'm Breaky CPK, going to be your shoutcasting host, and joining me once again is Hippie of the Honcast staff, as well as special guest Fresh Bro from Clan Fanatic MSI, the best SmackDown player in the world. He will tell you himself. Anyways, this is Game 3 here in the GosuGamers event, Losers Bracket, Round 3. We got iMp versus DDT, Impunity Gaming, the Southeast Asian team, coming over here, and they've definitely been looking really strong lately. Like I said, they're going to be at the DYA event, which we will be hosting live from the 18 tournament over there. They have a chance to compete for a lot of money. Really looking forward to seeing what this team is about. We've definitely got a kind of an idea of what they are about. Game 1, they looked very confident. They ran the famous Gladiator trial lane strategy, made famous by Fresh Pro's Fnatic MSI team. They did very well with it. In the next game, they actually went with a different route. They went with the Malikan trial lane. Unfortunately, they got out-carried by a Sandwraith, though, on DDT, and that's pretty much a mini recap of how we're here in Game 3. So, once again, thanks for tuning in. Of course, this is part of the Honcast Daily every Monday through Thursday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. CET. Look to tune in for some type of content, whether it's a big tournament match like this or just a fun cast like we did yesterday. Anyways, before anything else, let's jump into the introductions. How you doing, Hippie, again?
Doing great, seeing a great pair of games. Glad to see DDT playing the way I know they can. Glad to see that Impunity is a fantastic team, as I was expecting, for making it this far and for being invited to DYA. So, some fantastic matches we've had so far. Game 3 promises to be nothing short of spectacular.
Alright, and of course, Fresh Pro joining us once again, and good afternoon to you, even though it's 11 p.m., but according to you, it's afternoon. How you doing, Fresh?
Hey friends, I'm doing jättebra. So yeah, all good. Looking forward to an exciting third game.
What was that? You and your Swedish, or Danish, or whatever you spoke.
Swedish.
You're not going to tell me what you said, did you?
Nah, it was just very good.
Okay.
In Swedish.
I thought it was one of those, I'm going to say this because Breaky CBK doesn't know what I'm saying. Haha. Anyways. Alright. No, but of course, glad.
Henry D thing.
I guess that is true. No, but it's always great to have Fresh Pro here on helping us out. Always great for his competitive insight, of course. But here we are, Game 3. The picks already started, so let's look at the bands and some interesting bands. We got Sandwraith, Dr. Repulsor, Voodoo Jester, Thunderbringer, Pebbles, and Devour. So you got 4 of the same bands from last game, obviously being the ones in the middle, kind of. And then you got Voodoo Jester and Sandwraith this time. Now, both of those were played on DDT. And I did actually skip forward, so I only have Voodoo Jester was banned by iMp, but of course I'm guessing iMp banned Sandwraith as well. That'd be a given right there. So they don't want to have a DDT have the nice little time that they had last time with a Sandwraith hero. But of course, with those bans, now other heroes open up, such as something like a Witch Slayer, which you see picked up even the Wretched Hag this time, which actually was picked up by DDT. So we saw DDT ban Wretched Hag the first 2 games, yet Imperial Gaming does not, or I keep saying that, Impunity Gaming did not pick him up with the first pick, and instead DDT gets him. So interesting little sequence there. But overall, what do you think about these bans here, Hippie?
Still very normal bans compared to every other game aside from the Sandwraith. They obviously don't want to deal with that again because they saw what happened. The Witch Slayer's still not banned, obviously, and I think picking Wretched Hag against a Witch Slayer, against the Witch Slayer that's already banned. I won't go into the picks, but Witch Slayer not banned is something I don't like to see, and I think I said that last game because I just think he's so incredibly versatile, counters so many things, fits into so many lineups, so many lanes, can play so many different roles on a team that it's just so dangerous to let the other team have him.
What about you, Fresh? Comments to make on these bans here?
Well, you see, the last 2 bans, the last bans in the previous game was like Wretched Hag and Soul Stealer, so I'm kind of waiting if the Legion seems to right-click Soul Stealer to see which of those 2 heroes makes the plays the best or whatever, plays the biggest role in his team. But overall, it's kind of Larry picks him up, kind of sort of like what my team used to do, these imp lineups. I mean, not totally, but kind of the same style. So I can't say they have bad picks. I think they have a really, really solid lineup on the Legion side.
Yeah, it is interesting to see how it turned out. And then obviously with you going over them, might as well jump into it. We got Slither, Bubbles, Gladiator, Witchslayer, and Soulstealer. And like you said, it's very similar to what MSI, you guys know and love, the style of lineup that you guys really like to run. A tri-lane Gladiator, a very powerful solo minion Soulstealer, and then of course Bubbles playing the long lane if he needs to be, depending on where they want to set it up. But you would expect that, in this case, playing the top lane, so he can, be versatile. But if it's the same thing as the first game, we'll most likely just see him jungle straight off the bat, if they do expect a tri-lane, of course, from DDT. It worked for them first game, the Gladiator tri-lane. Now they got, this time, Soulstealer playing mid, like we've mentioned. So very good pickup there, as you've mentioned as well. Banned both the first two games, but both Wretched Hag and Soulstealer not banned this time around. They didn't get Wretched Hag, but they got Soulstealer. Of course, Wretched Hag went to DDT. But, Hippie, what about your thoughts on Impunity's lineup over here?
I'm happy to see Slither. We don't see him quite as much as we used to. A little worried just because of the fact that either they're obviously not going to put him mid because of the Soulstealer pick, so I'm worried that he's not going to get the levels he needs to get the poison spray going. He'll need to really make effective use of those wards to do some extra jungle farming, I think, to be at all keep up with the rest of the game. And ever since the nerf to his poison spray range, which I know was a long time ago, but it was a huge hit to his early game viability, and if he doesn't get the levels to make up for it, he's just not that dangerous as a ganker, and that's what he needs to be able to do.
Well, it's interesting because it's a similar cycle. Again, they had the chance to pick up Andromeda, but like last game, they went with Plague Rider. This time, they had the chance once again to pick up Andromeda. They could have gone Plague Rider as well, which obviously they were comfortable with the first game, but this time around they choose to go Slither instead. Again, you mentioned that poison spray that was quite the nerf that definitely took him off as part of being that really ideal tri-lane support hero, because now that you have to level up in it to get that effective range, definitely can hinder the hero. And obviously, as you talked about, definitely when you're looking at going to levels, he's not expected to get many being part of this tri-lane. But did you want to say something, Fresh?
Yeah. I think that their Plague Rider pickup was based on if the other team had a melee carry or a ranged carry, because you saw them having Plague Rider in the last lineup, where the opponents had Sandwraith, which is where the Plague Rider armor is like really good, really shines in late game, compared to now where they have like a ranged FA for carry and then Wretched Hag for semi-carry mega damage. So I think it's more like that where the logic behind the pick lies.
Well, my only defense against that is, again, I can agree with you. I definitely think you have a valid point there. But in the first game, they actually did pick up Plague Rider despite going up against a Flint Beastwood carry. So it's, yeah, I still definitely think you have a strong point there, and that could very likely still been their thinking process. But yeah, whatever the reason was, they did go with the Slither as part of their babysit. And in fact, this is going to be interesting because the Hellborn team, they have decided to send their tri-lane bottom as well, being more aggressive at tri-lane themselves. So this is going to be, for the first time in the series, we're going to see the tri versus tri-lane, always entertaining, at least to start things off. Let's go ahead and do a sync up real quickly. In fact, we're at a pause right here, so let's just get right after this pause, and then we'll do a sync up and be good to go. Get to 10:30 on the replay counter, and then we'll go from there. Oops.
Here.
Ready.
All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. 31, 32, 33.
Good.
All right.
I'm best.
Okay, so it's always fun to see the tri versus tri-lane. At least when you have tri-lane strategy, this is obviously the best way to get entertainment out of it. In fact, right now we do see Magma stunning into Slither off to the side. Here is a crippling volley going to come. Not yet. Poison spray goes out, missing both heroes though. Slither gets caught by the crippling volley, and down goes Slither. It looks like the bloodlust kill actually didn't show up on my screen, but it actually went to Glacius. They're now applying pressure to Gladiator, but he's just going to fall back. So a good start right there for DDT off in the jungle, as Magnus just did a good job of sitting in. That missed poison spray, definitely hurt them a little bit as well. But Now let's go over, let's go over the Hellborn lineup with that said. Before we get into too much action here, we got Forsaken Archer, Magnus, Wretched Hag, Glacius, and Pharaoh. So they're actually having the Pharaoh solo mid against Soul Stealer. Wretched Hag, of course, he's going 1 versus 1 against this Bubbles up top. And then as we keep on mentioning, the Tri versus Tri lane down here, again with that Forsaken Archer trying to be their carry hero. Hippie, what are your thoughts on the Hellborn team?
I'm a big fan. I think that Forsaken Archer Magnus is a combo that can get kills just on its own. It's been a powerful lane since the introduction of Forsaken Archer. And we do see action come in here on the bottom. Go ahead, break it.
Well, they're trying to pick off Witchslayer right here. They could have gone for Gladiator as well, but Witchslayer obviously the lesser life pool. They go for him, and sure enough, they pick up yet another kill. So, talking about this earlier, very aggressive trial lane from DDT, and they're definitely showing it here early on. And so far, and finding themselves in a different game than of course was the first game when they originally ran the Gladiator tri lane, where he was literally getting absolutely free farm. So this time it's a little bit different. So this is where the actual play comes through, the individual play, and seeing how you can deal with it. But go ahead, continue, Hippie.
Well, just this again. This is something I've touched on. Each time there seems to be kind of a big difference in which team has. Actually, this is the first time there's not a big difference in which team has more team fight power. I think. Fresh can correct me if I'm wrong, but we have great team fight power over here. We have good initiation. We have non-portal key initiation from both Wretched Hag and Pharaoh, and then we have great portal key initiation from Magnus as well. They have 3 different superb initiators in the mid game. Great team fight ultimates, Forsaken Archer, Magnus, Wretched Hag, fantastic. They're actually going on a Gladiator right here, but a Pitfall looks like it's going to stop him from catching up to him. The Glacius ultimate, if he skills it, is a very powerful team fight ability. I mean, Hag, so much damage she can put out over the course of a team fight. Very short cooldown on that Sonar Scream, and it's a lot of damage. She puts the levels into it. Also, the slow, just a little bit of slow on all of their heroes can make motion in a team fight so much more difficult. And it's one of those team fight disruption type of things. It's not as good as, like, I've been harping on Bubbles being one of those great team fight controllers and disruptors for the entire series. Hag is definitely not at his level, but she is still useful in that regard.
Fresh.
You kind of said a lot, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna agree with anything. Nah, I'm just kidding. I agree with you in probably everything what you said. The Hellborn, you see them already starting out with a 2-0 early lead because of the really good synergy between Magnus and FA, and then combined with the Glacier Slow and the Ice Imprisonment. And as you know, they got Pharaoh, the best initiation tool in the team, possibly in the game. Sunrise maybe a little better, and it's sort of like saying that we have him solo middle. You know that he's gonna get early levels, so he will be a really good asset to the team fights, and always have that ultimate up, and then the mummies to go along with it. Hag ultimate follow up, and so on. They got a really good lineup as well.
Oh, this Soul Stealer, it was an interesting fight at the bottom. Rune Mummy Wall came up from Pharaoh trying to prevent Soul Stealer from picking it up. He just got it, though, but Soul Stealer took a lot of damage as a result of them both being there, and Pharaoh was just going and dishing out as much damage as possible. It happened to be an Invis Rune, so that happened to be that was good for Soul Stealer. Obviously, he was able to get away, but he's pretty much used all the bottle charges as well as a health potion that was used on him by one of his teammates, and so he's back up and good to go. But Fresh, I also wanted to touch on this with you again, you being a popular Pharaoh player yourself, obviously arguably one of the best ones. I'll just say you're the best Pharaoh player. How about that? There we go. Anyways, how would you feel about a Soul Stealer middle matchup?
It kind of goes back to, I think I've played that matchup a lot with the Dota equivalent hero against the Soul Stealer equivalent hero solo mid. It's actually been done quite a lot, and it's definitely a fair matchup, I'd say. It can go either way, and it's not that I'm a big fan of it. I'd rather use him to take on one of the lanes that I'm used to, one of the hard lane, but he can definitely go mid against the Soul Stealer.
Well, so far he seems to actually be doing pretty legit job. I mean, he's 22 and 7 creep score. You see him actually bottling up that double damage rune right there. Meanwhile, action at the bottom lane, Pitfall coming out. Forsaken Archer plays it smart though, backs up instead of going forward, expecting the Pitfall. Now turning it around, the crippling volley, not going to be enough for the kill on Gladiator. Though can Glacius finish him off? No, he cannot. But actually, Porch gets the kill on Magnus. But Glacius also going down. You see Bubbles down here assisting for a lot of these kills. And now Magnus, he does not have enough mana for his Lava Surge. 3 mana. Can he get it off in time? Ooh, if we waited a half a second more. But he's still going to get away. Anything coming out? Turtle Shell, it's going to hit him, and there goes the kill. And the nuke coming in from Pharaoh. As you can see, the Tormented Soul, not enough for kills themselves. So in the end, numbers advantage. Hat-trick actually coming out for Bubbles right there. So making some great things happen here at this bottom lane. Of course, Gladiator did die through all of that. So that's the unfortunate thing for Imp, but in the end they cleaned it up at least, and now tied up at 3 hero kills apiece, at least according to my scoreboard. But well played, and right now no one actually at the top lane, as Wretched Hag is also down here kind of scouting things out, maybe looking to play pickoff, but not going to do so. Actually coming back towards the middle once again. Very likely to look to set something up here on Soul Stealer maybe. He does have his ultimate, and of course so does Pharaoh, being level 7 himself. But no, Wretched Hag going back towards the bottom, so they want to keep this pressure up on this Gladiator. They definitely remember the first game, how Gladiator just took over and dominated them, so they're just doing everything possible to keep him locked down early on, and, well, so far they've been very successful at that. Only a 4-1 creep score and already 1 death. He gets initiated on. They're just going to tower dive while they're at it. Bat Blast comes out for Wretched Hag, and an easy kill for them. Witchslayer also going to be picked off. Can they kill Slither as well? You see the port in from Bubbles, actually, trying to catch anyone he can. He happens to catch Magnus, but Forsaken Archer turning around, putting in those auto attacks. And this game 3 so far, a huge momentum difference for DDT. Again, unlike the first game against that Gladiator trial lane, they're just doing a lot of things better, from support to just playing, having a 3-3 matchup in the first place is obviously different. And easily winning. I mean, I wasn't even noticing the creep score, but a 4-1 creep score on Gladiator, he is doing nothing at this point.
It's not that I would say that he has that many options, because he's going up against a very scary trialing compared to what Gladiator is actually, what he can do in those early levels. He's next to that, I would say, kind of useless, except he can do good harass with the whip slap, but besides that, I don't see him having even though if it was a good player, like a really good player playing him, I don't see that he could do it like much differently than this guy did.
So you heard it here first. If you're looking to counter the Gladiator trial lane, just run a Forsaken Archer Glacius Magnus, and there you go. No, but on the real though, I mean, again, you say it's troublesome for Gladiator in terms of what his options are. What are his options, though? I mean, do you think he could just go to the top lane, like in fact he has done now? And so this is actually what he's. Right as I talk about that, he's actually up there right now farming. Now the curious thing is, does DDT make a quick adjustment to this? Because again, like the last thing they want is to allow this Gladiator to just really start to pick up his farm all of a sudden. And in fact, Wretched Hag is going to come up here, and with Gladiator by himself, Wretched Hag should definitely be able to handle it, especially having a 2-level advantage. So in that sense, again, like I was just going to put out, what do they do? And this was going to be, I'm guessing, one of really the only options. But at this point, I mean, you've already fallen behind, like we've seen now in levels, especially on top of the farm, that it's going to be really difficult for him now to kind of recover at this point, it seems like.
Yeah, it definitely is, and that's why, I don't know if you can call Gladiator a double-edged sword. Excuse my pronunciation. If he doesn't get a really powerful start at the early game, if he has a hard time from the early game, it's really hard to just suddenly step in. Obviously, he can make like a super good ultimate that could turn around the team fight, but besides that, he's really kind of just a hero. You need to get on with it and get farmed, because else you're not going to do much.
Well, Hellborn team pushing in this middle lane right here, and going to continue to do so. So they're just putting out as many wards as possible. Of course, it's level 2 Toxis and Warder now. He can level 4 himself, just kind of pushing them off a little bit until the support gets here, and sure enough, here's Bubbles at least, and here we go with Soul Stealer as well. Yeah, we've obviously been focusing a lot on that Gladiator for this Legion team, but you look at Soul Stealer and Bubbles, again, Bubbles especially, he did a really good job earlier, obviously coming to the bottom lane and helping to set up that those trio of kills, but when you look at his creep farm, it actually is being out-farmed quite a bit compared to the Wretched Hag, so Wretched Hag did have the slight advantage there, early on at least, and then you got Soul Stealer, who is managing to get the top creep score in the game. And again, no really big surprise there. That's Soul Stealer for you. He's at the 300 gold per minute mark. He's playing back and forth here. Pharaoh actually jumps in and goes in front of him, then uses the Mummy Wall, giving perfect position for the Magma Stun. The Gladiator ultimate missing everything, and Soul Stealer does not have his ultimate yet. He's still level 8, so just nuking out as much as possible, and now turning around to run away. So actually a good save there from the Legion team, and it looks like, yes, they're actually going to save everyone. A great attempt there from DDT, like I said. Excellent job by Pharaoh going in front of him, trying to push him backwards, set up a stun from his teammates, but in the end, not able to come through with the kill, but at least now they can pressure this tower once again.
Yeah, that was a beautiful Mummy Wall, definitely, but, you know, Forsaken Archer, if she had just moved a bit more forward to use the Crippling Molly, she could have caught like 3 heroes, and that would have been just sick, because, oh, she doesn't have her ultimate yet, but still, they probably could have made a kill or two if she hit that.
Yeah, I was just actually about to question that skill build, because I was thinking, why didn't she ult Soul Stealer? It was, 2 arrows from dead, and then I looked and, oh, she doesn't have her ultimate. That's a little iffy, in my opinion, to not skill something that's just so powerful if you're applying pressure early game, and they've been applying a lot of pressure. They've been getting a lot of hero kills with that Forsaken Archer. So it both puzzles and bothers me that she doesn't have it.
Very iffy indeed.
Well, we're kind of at the point of, again, Gladiator, clearly he's really struggling in farm. I mean, now he's back down on this bottom lane, just trying to do as much as possible. He's picking up a couple of... He actually picked up another mana battery there for a second. No point to have 2, though, so he sells it right away. But, even with Gladiator underfarmed, again, Soul Stealer, he is the top farm in the game at 300 gold per minute. So now the question is, are they still going to be able to recover enough with that alone? I mean, obviously, coming into the later game, they're going to rely on this Gladiator being crazy farmed. But for right now, you can definitely argue that they still are in a pretty okay spot, especially not only Soul Stealer, but Bubbles as well, like we were talking about. He's doing just fine. In fact, he initiates right up here. He gets countered a little bit, though, but out comes a Gladiator ultimate. Now Forsaken Archer realizes what's happening, turns around, but Magnus and Wretched Hag coming in right here, trying to cut them off. Bubbles in a lot of trouble. The Sonar Scream followed by the Lava Surge. Easy kill for them. And Gladiator's like, okay, nothing more I can do. He's just going to get out of there. Witchslayer, for some reason, thought about coming off from the side. Oh, God, he's going to get picked off. And in the meantime, Soul Stealer got picked off by the Ancient Creeps. Ay, ay, ay. I don't know if there was assisted hero damage in there or anything, but that's unfortunate right there. So, wow, really sloppy right there from the Legion team, almost, you can say. And, well, I was going to say, I mean, they're still in this game, definitely, but after that performance, I don't know. It's definitely getting a little bit more out of hand now, and DDT's feeling confident, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, it's certainly nowhere near out of reach. It's just a lot of iffy play from Impunity, I think. But by no means is this deficit impossible to make up, especially not when you have a farming monster like Soul Stealer.
Yeah, I was just saying that I rewinded and saw that the Soul Stealer, he just, made a terrible mistake. I guess you could say that, but yeah, it's definitely looking better for the Hellborn team, and yeah, I don't know what more to say.
Yeah, that was just really just all-around sloppiness right there from the Legion team. So you would hope that, again, right to game 1 and 2, that they played very solid really in both games, despite losing the second one. So expecting them to kind of continue that trend here in this game. And like you said, Hippie, I mean, they still have, so even though that unfortunate circumstance right there, dying to the neutral creeps, I mean, they still have him in the best comeback hero on the game by far. He's going to actually going to finish out this last Crusher right there who took his life. So there we go. But And Gladiator, again, he's recovering. He's been doing more movement. He's actually picked up a bracers early on. So again, being forced to kind of go a little bit different right here. Pharaoh actually catching Soul Stealer, who has an illusion rune off. But here comes Magnus. Witch Slayer going to come in there. Where's the graveyard stun? He's not using it yet. Finally uses it. Ooh, a little bit late there from Witch Slayer. If he used it a second earlier, may have actually bought time for Soul Stealer to get his ultimate off, but that was not the case. So Soul Stealer goes down. Bubbles jumps in, throws out his ultimate, catching a couple of players. Really nothing to it, though, and Bubbles is now going to fall back. So again, a little really questionable play right there from Impunity. And now, of course, Hellborn team. Why not? They group up here in the middle lane and going to push it in. Forsaken Archer. Speaking of farm, she's actually taken over as the top farmer, especially after that now. Up to 320 gold per minute. So just a 6,500 gold lead on top of a 5,000 experience lead at this point for DDT. It's time that the gap is closing here for Impunity. They can only make so many mistakes before it's just too much out of hand. And I know it's only 17 minutes in, and this Legion team, they definitely have several carry-style heroes and awesome support, but again, they can only keep banging their head against the wall so often. I mean, you guys watched that too, I'm sure. Did I miss something? Was there a reason why Witch Slayer didn't stun right away there? Or were they trying to, I guess maybe trying to line something out?
Well, I don't see why Witch Slayer wouldn't have stunned, but at the same time, with the Pharaoh ultimate on, Soul Stealer couldn't have gotten his ultimate off anyways, until it wore off.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah. That is a valid. I mean, again, you talk about Impunity. They're playing from Southeast Asia, I believe Singapore, and being a U.S. West server, I'm sure their latency is 200 plus. I'm sure they're getting some lag spikes.
Yeah, I just remember one of the previous games I saw also a Pharaoh initiating, and then the Witch Slayer was right there, but he kind of didn't do anything, and then Valkyrie just leaped away, and I was like, lags?
Very likely. Pharaoh picking up his helmet with the Black Legion now. He's probably had that for a while, actually, with his Ghost Marchers. Just bottles up a haste rune right there. Yeah. I forgot he's solo in mid. So yeah, he's had that for a while. I would guess Forsaken's going for a Shrunken Head. But obviously just as likely it could be Nice Brain. But in this case, Shrunken Head would make sense.
Yeah, I think against this team, Shrunken Head is definitely what she would be looking at. Especially with the fact that they've kept Gladiator down so effectively, all the damage they have to worry about right now is magical. And especially because we have Soul Stealer with a portal key. I'm not sure if she knows that or not. I don't recall whether or not he's revealed it to her. But she's mostly got to be watching out for magic damage and disables at the moment. Not really too much to worry about in terms of anyone out damaging her.
Very, very true. So, Legion team, again, they're doing their best to hang in here early on in the game. Now 19.5 minutes in. You see Slither kind of perhaps looking to take over some jungling. Well, actually, getting some stacks, creep stacks going for Soul Stealer to take them out and start his recovery route. By the way, Soul Stealer going his portal key. I don't know if the other one of you mentioned that. Perhaps he did. I apologize if so, but that's his portal key now. And you know, that's another one of those kind of give and take situations. Like the phrase you used earlier, Fresh, was a double-edged sword, where obviously it's great for initiating. It's also can be a great tool for, you know, picking off heroes yourself, and also for helping a getaway. It does have a lot of uses, but I mean, we've seen how fast he's dropped throughout this game so far already. Yes, he does have Steam Boots and Power Supply. He's around 1,100 life already, so that's not bad. But you also go back to the Cellborn team. You talk about magic damage. They got quite. They're relying quite a bit on it themselves, as well as a decent amount of CC. So you maybe think maybe Shrunken Head would have been an awesome first item choice right here for Soul Stealer. And speaking of that, he's going to get caught right here by Pharaoh, trying to get off the ultimate, but you see the Hellfire mini stun. He cannot get it off. There goes the Bat Blast, only hitting Soul Stealer, but at least he got the kill on Soul Stealer, and sure enough, they clean up on Slither as well. So I'm not going to sit here and say like Shiel's right. He should have had a Shrunken Head at that point, but I obviously that is the disbenefits of having a portal key. Yes, it's great for getting away, but you have to be able to get away before you take damage. And in that case, the tormented soul did the damage, and he was able to be chased down by Pharaoh. So, but here they go for Conger, and very likely going to get an easy Conger kill here for DDT.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Portal Key was actually a bad choice against this team. There's too much quick cast stun, and especially with Pharaoh's Hellfire to be able to use its initiation tool, which is, I mean, it's mostly an initiation tool this early on Soul Stealer. You want to be able to get in there, get off the quick Demon Hands, get off the quick ultimate without people seeing you, or without people being able to react, and there's just too much quick stun power, instant counter right here on the Hellborn team. I'm gonna say that I believe the Shrunken Head would have been a solidly better pickup.
I mean, what about you, Fresh? Or excuse me, what about you, Fresh? I mean, do you think Shrunken Head may have been a better choice earlier on, or maybe even something else?
I don't know. I personally don't have any interest in strength heroes apart from Pharaoh. So I don't know. You could definitely do it, but I don't know what he could do right now. I mean, he could go for him of the Black Legion. He could go Shrunken Head. I don't think either of those two ways is like that.
Speaking of
on Soul Stealer.
Yeah, wait, you were talking about Soul Stealer, right, Fresh? With Home of the Black Legion, even?
No, wait, what? I thought we were talking about Gladiator.
No. Yeah, I was talking about Soul Stealer. It's all good now. I was a little bit, Home of the Black Legion, not an item you see too often on a Soul Stealer, but it is Fresh. I'm not going to sit here and argue against him.
He shouldn't go for a portal key against a team with a Pharaoh on. And Hag. I mean, they got so much initiation.
Mm-hmm.
Portal key, it's just gonna hurt him, and he might as well just have gone for the Frostbrand build to then Geometer's Bane and then Frostwolf's Skull, so he can kind of like be in those team fights, because he have to be like a strong presence, and he doesn't fall down, you know, so fast when he's got those items instead of just going the portal key build.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, though, kind of going the portal key, of course. Now it's the whole. Let's see if he can make effective use of it at this point. And in fact, by the way, so yeah, Conger was killed, and of course, who has the token of life? By the way, I thought it was. Oh, Wretched Hag got it. Okay, so she picked it up. She actually opens up right here onto Bubbles in the middle lane, but then falls back immediately. She has a level 2 puzzle box, by the way, just delivered to her. So, obviously, in a very good spot herself. But yeah, I mean, going back to that Gladiator as well, you were touching on some of the item pickups, and he actually picked up a Steam Staff, so it almost leads you to believe, at least from that item pickup, that perhaps he's going for an Assassin Shroud first pickup, staying away from getting the Helm of the Black Legion and just going straight for the Assassin Shroud. Now, sure, he'll be able to hit fairly hard, but now the thing is, of course, without the Helm of the Black Legion especially, you do put yourself in pretty vulnerable spots when you open up out of the Assassin Shroud, and that's ultimately what makes Gladiator, you know, that's why he could use those tanky items, but curious to see how that works out as well. So really several item choices going to be made here on Imp's side that definitely some you could put some discussion into. As a whole, Wretched Hag almost picked off Gladiator, actually. I just got the tail end of that. Wretched Hag jumped on top of Gladiator, nearly picking up the kill. Again, that's such a beneficial thing of this Hellborn team. We've seen that several times now. We've been talking about it as well. Both Pharaoh, Wretched Hag, they just blink in out of nowhere and completely catch you off guard, and they're going to have, you know, the initiation favor most of the time, and especially once Magnus gets his portal key, which he currently has around 1,400 gold saved up, so working for it next, you would think so, and is on his way. But for now, the Hellborn team, they're fine with just pushing in the middle lane. As far as the Legion team is concerned, you see Pharaoh kind of up here on the ledge. Will he go in is now the question. Against Soul Stealer, he has that portal key, but he jumps in there, you know, there's a good chance that he's going to get stunned before he can get his ultimate off. So it's going to be very, very difficult for him to use this effectively. We have Pharaoh, actually, his Bubbles goes in. Actually, you see the ultimate going off from him. Here comes Gladiator as well. Soul Stealer going to jump in himself. He's going to get trying his ultimate off, but again, the Hellfire mini's done. He finally gets it off. Gladiator is going to be dropped right there. You see Magnus doing a lot of damage himself with his ultimate. Know-It-All actually picking up a double tap after all that. Good nuke down on Forsaken Archer, actually, by Soul Stealer. And Wretched Hag kind of blinks away. So, and you see how Magnus is very low on life as well. So very in the end, it's a fairly even outcome right there between the two teams. And in fact, Legion team also saves their tower. So Solskjaer was able to get his ultimate off finally. And it definitely helped them clean up a little bit. But a little fun sequence right there in that team fight.
Yeah, really nice mummy placement, actually, was what screwed up that Soul Stealer ultimate, shoved him back, and screwed up his positioning on it very, very badly, so it didn't really get much damage off, as well as delaying it long enough for people to spread out. So really nice play from Know-It-All on that Pharaoh. I mean, on top of picking up that double kill, screwing up the Soul Stealer ultimate that could have completely turned the fight around if it landed.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, too. Yeah, he got it off, but again, he's not able to get it off in an ideal placement. I mean, sure, it did some damage, but obviously you ultimately want to get it at least on top of at least one or maybe even two heroes, as well as a good surrounding, and that wasn't the case there. But in the end, he did stay alive and ended up helping to clean up the majority of them at least. But the Hellborn team right back into looking to play aggressive mode, and they're not gonna let the foot off the pedal. They're just gonna keep it going. Soulstealer, he needs to think about porting out. He can't port out for another 5 seconds. You see the Hellborn team making their way down here, but he should be safe. Oh, he actually gets hit there by the 2 minutes at the last second. Not gonna matter though, and he ports out. So they go back to the middle lane now. Back to continue to push. Again, Token Alive still on Wretched Hag, by the way, who now has his level 3 puzzle box. And Forsaken Archer picking up a Quick Blade to go with that Whispering Helm, so more than likely going for her Geometer's Bane now. Take out the Slither Wards, always fun to... Always an awesome turtle ability. Level 4. Spam those all day. A lot of harassment. Portal key. Nope, Magnus still does not have a portal key. I thought he might have found him by now. But, oh, he just bought it, it looks like. Actually. Okay, yeah, it's being delivered to him right now. Yep. So that's just another thing that iMp is now going to have to look out for in terms of initiation. Hellborn team has so much of it.
Puzzle Box 3 finished on Hag. If I missed you talking about that, I'm sorry.
All good. But yeah, she has that, and that's another great team fight tool, as well as an awesome solo ganker. And of course, I mean, what even makes it that much more useful is, we talked about earlier, Gladiator, what looked like to be he's going for an Assassin Shroud. You know, his farm has just really been awful throughout this game, but he's going Steam Staff first, so we'd expect that. And of course, the level 3 puzzle box, well, can see right through that. That's another thing to keep in mind. Hellborn team really wants to take out this tower, though. But again, those Slither Wards preventing most of it from eventually happening, but maybe this next creep wave will officially doing the job. We have Magnus hanging off to the side. He does have his portal key. Oh, this could get ugly. Double damage rune activated on Wretched Hag as well. She has her token of life for another 2 minutes or plus. Legion team, I mean, even if the Hellborn team isn't actually pushing in right here and there's no team fight happening, obviously this is advantage for DDT because iMp right now is just sitting back in their base getting absolutely no farm. And just always now playing the guessing game of what's going to happen, what's going to happen. Can we go in now? I mean, are we going to go in? And they are going to go in. In fact, there goes Soulster there as well. Great place to ultimate. That was much better right there. Slither follows it. An excellent Gladiator ultimate on top of that. Here comes the Bat Blast coming out. I don't even know if the Bat Blast hit anyone, actually. We have Slither dropping right here to Magnus. But now Magnus trying to fall back after he did all he could. And Wretched Hag's going to get picked up. Of course, she's going to resurrect with the token of life. Witchslayer ends up going down. But now the chase is on. You see Forsaken Archer. She was still alive after all of that as well. Magnus pours in, gets a stun on Bubbles. Take cover being used, though. And Solskjaer, they're just trying to nuke, do as much damage as possible, scare them off here. And actually could kill Wretched Hag. No, she blinks away at the last second. And she will be fine. So, again, despite great ultimates from the Legion team, really, between Gladiator, Solskjaer, Slither, everyone, they were not able to clean up enough. They get players low, but the only one they could actually kill was Pharaoh. And, you know, that's where you have to take into consideration the gold and experience advantage coming into play, perhaps.
Yeah, and that token of life definitely played a good part as well, with Hag just coming up again and just turning it around. I mean, if they didn't have the token of life, I think we were looking at a pretty fair fight, maybe a bit in the favor of the Legion, but yeah, you know, that token of life just totally destroyed them. So right now they are in a bit of a hole, these imp guys.
Yeah, at the same time though, I think if if Pharaoh had actually gone and initiated, they could have tanked enough of the tower to probably deal with the team. If they let the Legion get the initiation like that with the Kelp Field combined with the Soul Stealer ultimate, that's a really brutal combination right there. Because at the very least, you're eating a decent amount of damage, even if you run to the edge of the Kelp Field and just break the strings to try to get away from it. You're still going to be taking a lot of damage from that Soul Stealer ultimate. So I really think Pharaoh and Magmus and Wretched Hag need to be taking the initiative here and getting the initiation onto this Legion team and not letting Bubbles get that blink in, not letting him get the Kelp Field off.
Yeah, that's a very good point, especially now with that shrunken head on Soul Stealer. But again, you go back to the Token Alive being a huge factor right there in the last team fight. I definitely can't agree with you more. You have to keep in mind, too, it's DDT was their decision who they were going to give it to. A lot of people may think right off the bat it's going to go to Forsaken Archer because she's the carry. You want her to stay alive. But DDT made the right decision there, as we saw from that team fight, giving it to Wretched Hag, and because she was able to resurrect and eventually push them back and almost finish off the genocide, was ultimately what helped them win that fight. Meanwhile, what the hell? Wretched Hag got picked off over here by the Legion team. I was actually watching this push. I do apologize for that, but so no numbers advantage for the Legion team. 50 seconds resurrection, showdown, pitfall combination on Forsaken Archer. They're going to start damaging her down. The Hellborn team has to react to this. They come back with their ultimates. Actually, look at that Magmus ultimate. Soul Stealer being locked down. He is frozen. He cannot even. He's already used his shrunken head. He used it earlier against Wretched Hag. He cannot get away right here. And down goes Soul Stealer. He cannot do anything. He uses everything earlier, so I guess on that Wretched Hag, that's how they got the kill. Gladiator also goes down, and Bubbles just walks away. So yeah, I didn't even realize that, but everything seems like a lot of things at least were used by the Legion team, including Soul Stealer and Bubbles' ultimate, to kill that Wretched Hag. And Hellborn team, they took that into consideration. Like, well, they don't have those ultimates, so let's come fight back right here. And sure enough, they cleaned them up. Bubbles the only survivor, and now again a push in the middle lane. Forsaken Archer has to have his Geometer's Bane finished, and they're just going to be getting more and more powerful now.
At the same time, though, I'm actually unsure. Fresh, who would win a carry war between these two teams? Who is more effective as the farm goes on for both teams?
That's kind of a tough question because, if Gladiator gets a really good ultimate off and then he's got a follow-up with, as you see in Trixie, with the critical things, and, he can just annihilate 3 heroes with one hit in like 1 split second. So, if he did have that much farm, I think it would be the Legion team. Because Forsaken Archer, she's okay, but not really that type of good hard carry. And Wretched Hag is not much hard carry either.
Well, yeah, I mean, whenever we have those discussions as well, that's always the theory crafting. That's always the what ifs and the scenarios and everything. But obviously, realistically, in this game, DDT have the advantage no matter who would have the later game advantage in theory, because they're just dominating farm at this point, especially starting with Forsaken Archer. You compare that to everyone else in the game, she is just by far in the lead. I mean, you compare her alone to Soul Stealer, she pretty much has around 120 gold per minute lead over him alone, which is the top farmer, of course, on the Legion team. And then you also look at Wretched Hag is pretty much the same as Soul Stealer, and then even Pharaoh is up there, and then even Magmus is sitting at 200. So yeah, the overall farm is just by far surpassing this Legion team. So in that sense, obviously DDT has the advantage. We see Soul Stealer cleaning out some ancient creeps right here. But Forsaken Archer, she just finished her her Geometer's Bane. I was like, what did she finish? Yeah, it's her Geometer's Bane up there. So now she's got that, of course, to work with as well. And she already has another 1,100 or so gold saved up. And again, DDT, there's no reason for them to let off the pressure now. They want to keep this up. They do not want to let this Legion team come back in this, especially Gladiator. I mean, we're so used to seeing Gladiator just get his items early on. It's Helm of the Black Legion as Assassin Trap. We're so used to seeing that because, again, we watch Trixie all the time from Fnatic MSI. That's what he does in a repetitive sequence. But this time around, for the first time ever, you could say, I mean, we actually saw Gladiator get locked down by a tri-lane setup. And right now he just finished his Assassin Shroud. So now, we were questioning that in the first place, or at least I was. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that. But now that he's finished the Assassin Shroud, that's great and all. But again, they're already dealing against a level 3 puzzle box. The survivability is also not there for a hero like Gladiator, who finds himself in the midst of those big team fights. They're going to look to jump Forsaken Archer. They're a great pitfall on top of the Soul Shield ultimate. He cannot get off in time, though. He finally gets it off. Good ultimate from Pharaoh to try to prevent it. Down goes Forsaken Archer. Of course, he's going to resurrect. The team is coming, and the Legion team is going to start falling back. The Hellborn team is coming to support, and Soul Stealer gets caught right there. And, the ultimate on top of that. Now Soul Stealer's in a lot of trouble. Soul Stealer will be going down right here, so the Hellborn team picks him off. Again, the token alive coming into huge play right there. Pharaoh catches Gladiator right now, puts up the mummy while Wretched Hag dishing out as much damage as possible using the Assassin Shell, but again, those minions are out. That's absolutely not going to do anything. Down goes Gladiator, the tower taken out, and again, just another great turnaround fight from the Hellborn team. Oh man, this looks like it could be coming close to the end right now, especially after a fight like that. Another cleanup right there. Witch Slayer, the only survivor. They're going to push in the lane and easily take out both of the racks.
Alright, I don't know if that was intentional. It was some really sick, awesome timing from Pharaoh on that ultimate, because he hit him just as the bubble shell had cleaned up the puzzle box minion, and he ate the, 400, 500 point feedback from killing that thing, and he went right in there and just trashed him. It was great.
I was just gonna say Pharaoh, Snap of the Master on Pharaoh is super effective. That was kind of it.
Yeah, 20-second cooldown on that. That's just ridiculous. On top of the fact, of course, you can now trigger it on your teammates to kind of make some things happen there. You see Magnus stuns him with his ultimate, killing Slither. They're not cleaning out this middle side. Legion team just hanging by a limb right now. Of course, you can't blame them for not conceding. This is it. I mean, you lose this, you're done with the tournament as a whole. So why not hang in there to the very end? But DDT, they're just overwhelming at this point. It's so difficult to see a situation where iMp is going to be able to make a comeback. Again, it's back-to-back team fights now where the token alive really has made a huge difference. They catch Gladiator right there. And Magnus, who knows what he's doing? He's just trying to get out of range of the side. So they're going to use an ultimate to get a kill on a Magnus right here. He doesn't even get it right off the bat. He only had 13 or so souls. And, of course, they end up killing him, but at what cost right there? No, but both the middle and the bottom completely cleared out now. The Legion players might be able to pick off a couple of the Hellborn players here. We can see them kill Pharaoh. So 3 players dead. Bubbles gets turned around on. Wretched Hag is pounding into Soul Stealer right here. Forsaken Archer still here, of course. They're going to catch Soul Stealer. Yes, no, they aren't actually. Can Wretched Hag finish him off just before? No, they cannot. So Soul Stealer barely gets back. Slither uses the ultimate just before he's going to go down. Get as much damage as possible on this Forsaken. Somebody's porting in. In fact, Soul Stealer going to try to finish off Forsaken Archer. Does he have a portal key? No, he doesn't. Just going to auto attack. There goes the Soul. Demon Head, excuse me. Yes, he barely gets the kill. Is there a similar rage? No, it's just a Whispering Helm lifesteal. Almost enough to keep him alive, but not enough. Who cares, though? He buys back right away. And, yeah, I think it's safe to say DDT is on their way to moving on to the next round here in the losers bracket.
At the same time, though, even though he died, it's just a decision that most players don't think about making when Soul Stealer is chasing you, and you know he's going to nuke you down, and you have that lifesteal. Just turn around and put some damage into him. And look, they got the kill on Soul Stealer out of it because he had the presence of mind to turn around and fight. And that's something that pro players will always do because they know what they're doing. But a lot of lower level players don't think about that, and I always like to point that out when it happens.
Well, it was a good series. Really was. Definitely glad that we casted it, of course. But the Southeast Asian team, Impunity, going to come out on the short end after taking Game 1 here. Again, in Game 3, they went with a similar Gladiator strategy, but all the credit to DDT. They were confident in locking him down from the very beginning, and that they completely accomplished between Forsaken Archer, Magnus, and Glacius. They did not give Gladiator any chance of getting any type of farm early on. That's ultimately what you could say is what is leading DDT to a victory here. And on top of that, yes, maybe some questionable pickups. We see Pharaoh right there using his ultimate on the friendly player base. Not too often we get to see that, but as Fresh stated, it is a very good pickup on Pharaoh. And yeah, do you pick up staff in the Mastery? I mean, because like I said, it doesn't seem like we see it all too often, Fresh. But do you pick it up when you can, or is it you just don't find many instances to, or is it more one of those just really late game farms?
It's if you have a really good lead, then it's a really good item. But mostly, because I don't do it, it's if we play like really even matchups, and we need like a berry idol or something similar instead.
A lot of damage down here. Forsaken Archer was the intended target. She ends up surviving. Gladiator was chasing. But now Gladiator, of course, is just going to fall back. And, in fact, GG well played to come out. So it looks like that will officially do it. Expect the concede vote. And DDT will move on in the next round now. So, again, congrats to them. They very deserving, of course. Go ahead.
No, I was just pointing out a smack trick. That's it.
No. Of course you are. Always have to. No, but that's going to officially do it for the concede. And congrats to DDT. Deserving. They move on. I believe it was to play NVD, and we don't plan on casting it, so what the hell. They ended up winning. They actually also ended up winning that series against NVD. There were obviously some debates. You can actually check out the article on GosuGamers.net. It actually talks about DDT being successful both against Impunity and NVD being the Southeast Asian knockout teams. And with that said, NVD was the last Southeast Asian team, but of course with them being knocked out in the round 4 of the losers bracket, there are no more. So now it's just U.S. and European teams involved at this point. But yeah, congratulations, though, again, to Impunity. Definitely a team. Look forward to seeing more of the future, as well as the whole Southeast Asian scene in general. I know I can't be the only one that I want to see more countries involved, more international scene involved, and kind of get them going. And obviously, that's what the DYA hopefully can look to get implemented as well. But that's going to do it for the series, guys. I guess I want to go over some final thoughts real quickly. First from you, Hippie. Final thoughts on the series, Game 3.
Well, first things first, request from IRC, shout out to Breaky's hat. They love it in there. But at the same time, I mean, there were a few mistakes from both teams throughout various games, but still very, very excellent play. Some really fantastic moments. I still love Porch's ridiculous behemoth 3 kills in the woods in Game 1, even though they lost that game. And just very, very good series. I'm glad we casted it.
Yeah, fun indeed. And as you, I'm also glad we casted it, like I said. Fresh, final thoughts? Thanks for joining us again.
It was an overall pretty good series, as you said. The second game was really entertaining to cast, and yeah, that's kind of it.
Well, that's going to do it, guys. Game 3 finished, and of course, again, DDT victorious 2-1. They came from behind, lost the first game, but did very good in Game 2, and of course, dominating pretty much Game 3 there. So they move on. As I said, they moved on to the next round. They ended up defeating NVD. So right now, they're in round 5, I believe. They're actually one of, at this point, 8 or 10 teams remaining in the GosuGamers event, and the prize pool is just constantly raising up. Like I said, there's $40,000 overall in terms of prize pool money. Getting the top 4, though, that's where it really starts to jump. 4th is $2,000, 3rd is $3,000. Second is $5,000, and then of course first place is $10,000. So I mean, you just got a huge jump right there. Really looking forward to getting this wrapped up. With that said, the winners bracket semifinals, I believe, is scheduled to happen this weekend. Either Saturday or Sunday, so of course we will be on top of casting that when it happens. Definitely stay tuned for that this weekend. As far as the Honcast Daily Cast, though, again, thanks for tuning in, guys. Every Monday through Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. CET. Tune in here on Honcast, and we'll bring you whatever coverage there is, whether it's a fun cast, whether it's an in-house, whether it's a competitive match like this. Just trying to make it a little more consistent. And reminder as well, tune in to fileplay.net. Our channel is done on there. There's a Honcast channel now. They have been making upgrades to the servers. I know the first impression may not have been the greatest, but you got to work with something. And they promised us that they have been making improvements. And honestly, for me personally, I've been able to tell myself, and I've definitely been getting a lot more American-based people as well who have been having a lot better time with this. So go check it out if you haven't. Again, it's now a lot more organized, our Honcast channel, as well as much better servers, upgraded servers, and more servers. And it's constantly going to get better. They have promised that over there at FilePlay. So feel free to leave us your feedback in terms of that. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. And again, as always, stay tuned to Honcast.com for much, much more coverage. We're done for the night. You guys have a good night.